Hello, and welcome to Composer Escape. I'm Jess Hendricks, and this is not Scott Hall. I am Dr. Jess Hendricks, and this is Dr. Charles Brooks. But you can call us Chuck and Jess. Or dickheads in the comments when we say shit you don't agree with. Right? So, yeah, the last time I recorded welcome, Chuck. Scott's got shit going on right now. We already said he gonna be back. We know he gonna be back, Scott. Scott, I know you will watch every episode. I'm looking. You're gonna watch every episode. But a lot of shit's happened. The last time I recorded anything, it was like, oh my God, I just saw Black Adam. Henry Cavill's back. Well, a lot's happened since then. A lot's happened since then. So let's start off. Let's get to know Chuck. Really. You all know my you know my shit. I'm talking to our audience of the if I advertise at least we get some views if I advertise. But anyway, we're getting there. To the audience, y'all that have actually watched more than one episode of the show know that I am pretty much both a Marvel and a DC guy. Star Wars, Star Trek, any other sci-fi thing, fantasy, even some of the fringe superhero things I've gotten into. Let's hear about Chuck. Chuck, tell us. Let's get it going. I know all your music stuff. We're both musicians, by the way.
Yeah. So, I mean, we studied music together for a long time, so that's a big part of anything that I watch or consume or enjoy. But one of the things, and you and I haven't had a chance to talk about this just because we've been so far apart and we've both been busy, but when I got hired in Louisiana to teach in the entertainment department, I had to teach a couple of film courses. I also had to teach a couple of video game courses, like lower level stuff, no coding or programming. I don't do that. But there was storyboarding and things of that nature. That's your bag, baby. So I had to familiarize myself with the world that I wasn't as familiar with as some other people. And so I did lean on you and Scott. My stepdad is also very well versed. He has an extremely rare graphic novel collection that I didn't know about until I asked him one day. Yeah, he's got an original copy of The Watchmen.
Holy shit.
Yeah, dude. So like I've taken it upon myself. So now I'm kind of in the boat that you just described. Marvel and DC, I'm on both their sides. I dig all their stuff. I want to see the Dungeons and Dragons. I really enjoyed the what was the movie they did with the orcs a few years ago with Travis Fimmel? There's another
Netflix thing.
No, it was a movie. Ron Perlman.
Warcraft.
Warcraft. That was Warcraft. Can't believe
Duncan Jones. I follow that fool on Twitter. He's hilarious. I think he's English because he's always complaining about the Tories and shit.
Right. So
he's funny. I was like, where's number 2?
Right.
Where's 2 on Warcraft? Come on, it was fun. Right. People they worry too much about box office.
Well, the other part of the formula right now for me is my wife Keely is an entertainment writer. She has a magazine called
I watch. We share some opinions. Although she bummed on something that I liked recently on Facebook, so I don't know. We'll have to. I'm not going to get you in trouble. But she was like, something sucked. I was like, no.
Right. Well, we watch a lot of stuff because she's writing critiques and.
That'll help. We'll have to have her get on here every once in a while and tell us how wrong we are.
Look, if you ever want to do a zombie show, she's the one. The zombie genre is her bag, man.
Army of Darkness? You all saw Army of Darkness. Goddamn, Army of Darkness is the funniest not the funniest. That would be the one with Lex Luthor and Woody Harrelson.
Oh, Zombieland.
Yeah, that one was supposed to be, but Army of Darkness just had the so many fucking moments in it. All right. Warning, if you've watched our Scott ones, we go off on tangents. Here comes one real quick. Don't lose your thought. Army of Darkness, that guy, that comedian that was in it, and when he came out about, like, I don't know what it was, shit he had been doing, bad behavior. Zack Snyder in 2 seconds was like, you're out. But when he replaced him, I can't imagine anyone in that role other than Tig Notaro. I'm a Tig Notaro fan. Zach needs to get her in fucking everything. She's not in Rebel Moon. I don't think she is, but
Well, Keely and I got really excited watching Discovery this past season when she showed up. Star
yeah.
Trek Discovery.
She always makes a. She's always into. We haven't finished that season yet, so we will got to wait on. We're stuck because my wife's getting occupational therapy master degree. Because again, music don't pay. Music don't pay. So she's getting that, and let's just say that degree sounds horrible. She's always like overly stressed and miserable.
And it's a graduate.
So anyway, our shows are on the
extra work.
2 Mandalorians behind. Sorry.
Oh well, I'm one behind.
Damn.
Okay.
Well, it just came out today. That is okay.
There you go.
All right, but anyway, continue telling us about yourself. You got me distracted.
Well, that's where having to teach entertainment at a collegiate level forced me to study it more and to make sure that I had a diverse set of opinions and a diverse set of facts and resources. And so we study movies. We'll get together and like the weekends, especially if I'm not gigging or there's nothing going on, we'll watch a movie and then talk about it for us. So we sit and do this constantly.
Oh, damn.
And
well, you should just if you just record that. That's what we do.
Right? We often will have a conversation like this, and she'll go, "Should we have recorded that?" And I'm like, "Probably," but I can't remember what you said now or what I said. But and I had a point that was coming after that. When we watched these things, what was I going to say? It was really poignant. There goes our tangent.
Go for poignant. We don't usually go for poignant.
No. Oh, well, when I was teaching this stuff, that's what it was. I was trying to develop, a diverse set of resources and skill sets. So I wound up teaching Foley classes where we do sound effects. Yeah, it was really fun. And I designed.
Oh, you told John Pleasant about that, didn't you? He always wanted to be a Foley.
Oh, yeah. And look, the book that I got was by a cat that worked with Sam Raimi and
nice.
Bruce Campbell on the first Living Dead. What was it?
Evil Dead.
Evil Dead.
Was that what the first movie was called? It was just called Evil Dead,
I think it was the first one because the second one was when he went to the next dimension.
Yeah, the first one. Yeah, it
was in the woods.
They ran up their credit cards in the woods. And
that's right.
It had that tree scene
turned on them.
Yeah.
But no, at the end of the semester, what I did with these cats is if they got through all my etudes, because I was teaching them software, I was teaching them technique and artistry, because Foley is all of that stuff. And so if they had done all that, and most of the time they did, I would give them the opportunity to say, okay, what do you want to do? And if they couldn't decide, we would take a movie and take a scene and strip it down and go replace the dialogue and the sound. And we did a scene. We did the Princess Bride, the poison scene between the Sicilian and the Dread Pirate Roberts. We did a fight scene between Donnie Yen and Jet Li. Y'all go rip this stuff down for them. So we spent a lot of time studying motion pictures at a pretty microscopic level.
Well, I can give your class projects because I'm sick of spending money on sound effects that aren't quite right for my animations. I'm doing a series of Martian Manhunter shorts. I do all the animation in I'm doing it in a program called iClone, but I'm actually starting to render the animations in Unreal, but it's a big learning curve. But I want to get them sound effects, man. Real sound. I want real voice actors. I'm using AI to do the voices. But that being said, so that's great. And actually, I wanted to mention, I actually took film music composition, 2 semesters of it at the University of Miami with Raul Marciano, who was one of the founding members of Miami Sound Machine.
I know that.
And also
I know that
film
name.
music composer. Yeah.
Oh man, that was incredible.
In Colorado now. He done left UM, but he was he always had stories of like famous people, but we never really brought up Miami Sound Machine because he was a former member, and you gotta wonder. It's like, well, was that amicable? Let's just leave it.
Right. Was it on a bad foot?
It probably wasn't. He didn't exactly bring up Gloria Estefan a lot, so we never know if that was bad or not.
Right, because I feel like that would be something I would tell a lot of people if I knew Gloria Estefan.
Yeah. Well, one of my first professors at the other UM that I went to, University of Massachusetts, told a story. He's like, "Hi, I'm so and so. This was my career." It's like, and before anyone asks, yes, I was one of the people that was offered to be part of Google and blew it off. So he's he could have helped them code the beginning of it and been a billionaire now.
Holy cow!
So yeah. But you know what? Life turns out how it's supposed to. Here we are. So that's good. So you're both a DC and an MCU guy, so we won't be arguing. We will get some that are only one on here at some point. That's the one thing Scott and I always wanted to do. We never pulled it off. We got to get more followers. So if you've made it this far into the video and have not clicked follow yet, now is the time. Follow. Because now we got Chuck. Chuck's funny.
Right?
He's gonna bring it. We're going to offer opinions. He will bring his wife on to make fun of us. It will happen eventually. You know, not now, but yeah. But yeah, I want to talk to. There's lots of people on my wish list, and some of them aren't even. Well, they're going to be big names. One of them I've always wanted to talk to because I've seen so many interviews with is Ray Porter, and Ray Porter is a voice actor. His most recent thing I know he did was the Sandman audiobook that came out, not the TV show, but they also did an audiobook of the audiobook, yeah. Sandman. Yeah, I can't remember who he played. Oh, shit. I have to look it up. But anyway, Ray Porter was fucking Darkseid in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I'm pointing.
That's right.
That one right there is dark. And this guy is great. And he's a cool guy. And I would love to have him on to talk about that because he sits in his home with a kind of a system like I have here with all his monitors, and he's got his fancy microphones, and he'll record the audio right there. He doesn't go anywhere to record. He records it right at home, so he knows he doesn't just voice act. He knows how to work all of his, his gear and things.
Right.
That was probably really loud when I knocked that over. Mm-hmm. So that'd be fun. And, we are composers, Kate, so you will hear about film scores. I actually recently did an episode of my personal, I think I did a top 10 of superhero movie film scores, but yeah, we'll talk about that a lot, especially some of the new ones. They've, I'll say so far in my mind, and Chuck, you can agree or disagree, the DC universe, the Snyderverse, what was called the DCEU,
yeah,
its film scores, for the most part, absolutely all of them, even the ones Zach wasn't involved with, completely blow away most of the Marvel scores.
I would tend to agree. I would say, to me, they seem to be more compelling. Mm-hmm. It seems like they're tied deeper into the storyline. Don't get me wrong. I mean, all of the Avengers, all of that whole thing. It's very well done. Even the series on Disney, all of that stuff they do, whichever series you're talking about, they're all very well
actually,
done.
the series are infinitely better than most of the movies.
Yeah,
but Natalie Holt, Loki. Holy shit, Natalie Holt is amazing. I love her. Yeah,
but I do agree with you. There's something about the way they put that together that just seems to draw you in, because that was what we were talking about right before we got started, is like in the Man of Steel, when he's learning his powers and the brass section is doing what they're doing, they seem to be supplying him. Like, if you didn't know any better, you would think that those horns were giving him more air to get higher and higher as he learns how to use himself, properly.
Hans Zimmer Orchestra, I'm pretty sure that's 8 of them.
Yeah,
8 horns.
Yeah, and they sound bigger than All Outside, And then of course Hans.
But I hear it in my head right now.
Yeah,
of course, if I put it in there, then we can't advertise the frickin' episode because we'll get a copyright flag. But
right,
I won't. Y'all just listen to Flight.
Licensing hacks coming at you.
No, and I don't want to make my own music sound bad about I wrote the themes. But yeah, that for sure. I will say the exceptions. The obviously the Oscar-winning score to Black Panther.
Oh yeah.
That guy's name. Sorry, I can't pronounce it, but he's like him and crap. Who directed Creed and Black Panther?
Michael B. Jordan.
Oh, no, he was
in it.
He didn't. Who on the direct? He directed the most recent Creed. The first 2 Creeds were. He was roommates with the composer. And the composer also does The Mandalorian, same guy.
Oh, okay.
And his name, I'm not even going to try and pronounce it. So he was roommates with them in like college, and that's why he did Get Out as well.
Okay.
Black Panther's one, and then Alan Silvestri I love Alan Silvestri, but sometimes he'll throw out a score that's like, okay, that was pretty. I don't remember a damn bit of it. But and actually the first Avengers movie, pretty much that. But Infinity War. And Infinity War, it's like, yeah, this is pretty good. One, when Infinity War, when Captain America shows up and it drops that da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. But at the very end, Thanos in his farm, that string quartet.
Oh,
rack.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God. Now see, that's what I was like. Now that is like the DCEU. That's like the DC scores. That's like Wonder Woman, the No Man's Land theme. Even Black Adam's score was great. Both Shazam movies had great scores. The first one I liked a little better.
Oh, sure.
All right. I will say the one bad one, and this is good. All right. While we're talking about film scores, we got to earn our show name, right? Wonder Woman 1984 is the worst Hans Zimmer score of since Gladiator. Gladiator was great, but I mean, before Gladiator, he did a few like kind of pop rock scores that I could throw out. But Wonder Woman 1984, Rupert Gregson Williams should have kept that gig. I did not like Hans Zimmer's score at all.
Yeah, first of all, I really enjoyed.
It was too happy.
Yeah, and that was a pretty heart-wrenching story.
I feel like that. Gregson Williams, the emotions he hit in the original Wonder Woman movie, I wonder if it's because Hans Zimmer was like, I really want to do this one again, but then Denis Villeneuve, the Dune guy was like, hey, you want to do Dune? And Hans Zimmer was like, I've wanted to do that since I was a kid. And he's like, Wonder Woman, I got to finish this.
I think they leaned into the 80s stuff too hard, trying to be retro. I think they leaned. You don't have to really try. You can take a little bit of 80s, and that goes a long way.
You want to know what's disappointing? You know what Zack Snyder's original plan was? It was set up as Zack Snyder's Justice League. What the second Wonder Woman movie was supposed to be set in modern times, and it was supposed to be her trying to get back to Themyscira to like save it or something. That's why at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League, she's standing there with the arrow looking out at the sea.
Okay.
That's all gone. Now, all right. I don't want to, I have grieved and pushed it. When James Gunn took over and said, I'm making my own story, I was like, okay, what actors are staying? What actors are going? Zach's story is done. That's what this event is. It's called Full Circle. They're going to show all 3 movies. It's now a trilogy. It's no longer going to be a quintology. There's not going to be a Justice League 2 and 3 by Zach, except maybe some rare hope that James Gunn and Peter Safran sell the rights to Netflix to do it as an animated movie, which, if they got the original voice actors, that would be killer. It wouldn't satisfy everyone, but to do 2 animated Justice League movies would be the style of animation that Zack Snyder's known to do. Did you ever see a clip? They did a Teen Titans, that show Teen Titans with the silly little animated Teen Titans. And there was one where they went into something and it was like Zack Snyder directed this clip, and it's like all the Teen Titans become anime, and it's super intense, kind of making fun of Zack Snyder's Justice League. That type of thing. But yeah, so that kind of kicks us off. So we got the music thing, and we will try to talk about that a lot. I mean, the other shows are going to, and actually my wife is like, why don't you just try and get in touch with Tom Holkenborg, Junkie XL? Mostly to ask him how much do we have to keep referring to you as Junkie XL? Because I know you want to become Holkenborg.
What's your name, sir?
He started as a DJ.
Right.
Which I've okay, I'm sorry. I about showed my age right there. I almost said, not a radio DJ, but a DJ for concerts.
What's a radio, Paul?
Yeah, Jesus.
Hey, look, man. This didn't
I am drinking an old fashioned.
You know what I mean?
I tried Just for Men, but I realized I keep my shit too short, so it's like it looks good and dark for like a week. Then I shave, and it's like, oh right.
I don't even try to mess with it no more. During the pandemic, I let my hair grow real long, and we dyed it blonde.
Oh man.
And I looked really ridiculous.
You cut your fracking hair. Dude, I'm going to have to talk to people that have hair on the top of their head that shave it. You don't shave your head unless you have a reason. All right, so let's get the
spend hours in the bathroom, man.
Oh yeah, I don't think I shaved today. So, all right, for a minute we lost the 20-year-old males. That's our primary demographic. But then when we were like talking about not wasting time in the morning, they're like, "Oh, ho, ho, we're back."
That's right.
The females, though, they gone until your wife comes on the show. No, I'm not. My wife won't come on this thing. She's like, no. She has plenty of movie opinions, but she's like, no. She's like, no.
She keeps out of it.
Yeah. But so what we really need to do is we need to catch up with the other groups that are the what do you call it? It's not a I mean, I will release this as a podcast, but it's video. It's a YouTube show. But it's like a podcast.
Yeah, I think it's synonymous for everything because I
mean, iPods don't even exist anymore. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's get caught up in the big thing going. All right, Marvel's doing its thing. The movies have been fun, but not since. We'll brief, and Marvel's going to be brief for me, unless you got more to say about it, Chuck. But right now, we're kind of phase seems like we're kind of treading until we get to the big story. Now, if you've seen Ant-Man, I haven't. I'm excited to see Kang. If that actor, oh my God, I really should have wrote down these names. Jonathan Majors, is that right?
Yeah, Jonathan Majors.
Kang. I love that guy, but he in trouble, and I'm afraid. It's like
every time I turn around, somebody's in trouble.
You got talent. The first thing you do, you get a good gig. He got that HBO show. Go right into
the Lovecraft.
Yeah, I loved that show. I can't believe they canceled it.
It was really good.
It was one of the best shows ever.
Yeah.
But, oh man, I forgot about Sundown Cities. Damn. That and the Watchmen show. One season only. I'm going to start, if they do another show that's focused on African-American black characters and stories that's hardcore sci-fi like that, and then they cancel it after one season, I'm going to start calling shenanigans on it on Warner Bros.
Somebody needs
But
to.
Yeah, Jonathan Majors is like, when you get that gig, there's the first thing you need to do. Go right to therapy because you got shit you need to take care of. I promise you, when you get the money, that shit's going to get worse because you're going to feel invulnerable.
Oh, yeah.
We don't talk about politics on this show, but there's a particular person that was feeling invulnerable that maybe Tuesday isn't feeling so damn invulnerable anymore. That's all I'm going to say. Unsubscribe if you disagree. But, that being put aside, so Chuck, you were going to say, maybe you saw Ant-Man. Don't spoil it for me.
I haven't seen it yet.
Do you think the plan is starting to... All right, so what do you think? Do you think their plan is coming together? I mean, they have an Avengers movie with Kang as the main villain, and Kang's a great character.
Oh, absolutely. It's hard to say because I'm going to tell you when they started with all this. Here, I didn't read any of these graphic novels growing up.
It's a lot.
I had a slightly different childhood, so I'm coming to all of the stories later in life as an adult, so I can see the emotional side. I can see the hard decisions that people have to make in these decisions. So I'm looking at the whole phase roll out, and I've watched several Marvel-sponsored announcements, right? And so they lay out the phase in a big timeline.
Yeah.
And so, Morbius was supposed to do something, and it hasn't really done anything yet.
Well,
it's a good
he's
movie.
Also owned by Sony still. Morbius, Spider-Man are still owned by Sony, so they keep trying to connect their stuff, but all Marvel's really interested in is Spider-Man.
Right. And so, I'm looking at the new Blades that are coming down because they're going to use Mahershala Ali.
That is owned by Marvel.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's going to be
they just they just rewrote that.
Really?
They fired the original director and rewrote that. That was a couple months ago, but yeah. But okay, I will interject one thing. Marvel got a lot of heat over the VFX and all the stuff they were releasing, and apparently they've been cutting a few corners, right?
Okay.
And the VFX people were complaining. So the last CEO of Disney is out, and they brought back their previous CEO, I believe, Bob Iger, and he said, all right, we're going back to quality over quantity.
Word.
So, like, a lot of the Marvel shows, like, for instance, Blade got bumped. It's not happening when it was going to happen. So they're going to come out a little bit slower, which might help.
Yeah. Well, and that's kind of what I
yeah.
was getting at is there seems to be a lot of turnaround in all of the different integral parts. Because, man, any movie of the size of either DC or Marvel, whichever way you look at it, literally takes an entire city of people to get done. One of the things that the post and being a movie critic at the technical level. You study everything. So one of the things I like to do is I want to see the credits. I want to know who did what. If I didn't know who did the music, I want to know who was that, and then I want to pay attention to who did like the Hulk special effects are probably the best they've ever been in the history of the character. You know what I mean? I want to know who did all of that. And so one of the things those postscripts did, how they put the end of the scene after all of the credits, it made you stay.
Made you stay.
Watch the credits. And so
it's always the from a plot standpoint, I like that the mid-credit scene that you see all the main players. The mid-credit scene actually is probably something about a future movie or hinting at a sequel, and then the post-credit scene is something silly. But you got to see it, because if you don't, then at the everyone's going to be talking about it, and you're not going to know, and you're going to have to watch a shitty video that someone filmed on their iPhone in the theater at the end of the night with the popcorn cleaner walking by. Yeah. No, I agree. I like watching those credits. Sometimes to make sure that people I didn't like at the University of Miami aren't in them. I like when it gets to the orchestra. Oh, the thing my wife loves, and I have to agree with, we watch a few movies, and it fucking tells you the orchestra and all the players. Oh, the last movie I saw, it told you all the musicians, but didn't tell you what they played, so that was kind of lame. That was the Dungeons and Dragons movie. It's like, I want to know what they play. Right. But yeah, they show that now too.
Well, when you spend some time doing that much, you start, even if you don't remember exactly what they do, you start learning there's some important names, like some of the people we've already mentioned, that are linchpins in the whole network. Like you just mentioned, they fired the writer for The Blade. Now they're starting all over almost. So I don't know. I don't know how to give a definitive answer. I don't know if they're pulling it together or not. I have sat and watched the movies. I have all of them up until, I think I have all the DC. I own all of the Marvel movies and the DC movies. So I sit and watch the Marvel movies in the order that they tell you the story plot happens. Right? And so that's a lot of information.
Start with Captain America?
You start with Captain America, the first Avenger, and then I don't remember exactly.
When they introduce the X-Men, that's going out the door.
Oh no, for sure. So that's the other thing.
Then I think,
stuff. Well, they've already introduced the X-Men. The X-Men showed up already.
No, just the only mutant that's been in the MCU was just in Black Panther was their Aquaman. Damn.
Well, no, it was the no, Doctor Strange, bro. Professor X.
Remember Professor X, but that was from another universe, so that's not, he won't be Professor X.
So that doesn't count.
As a matter of fact, I think yeah. Well, no, I mean, but yeah, but see, in MCU Prime or 616, whatever it is,
fair enough.
The only we got our first mutant in Black Panther 2 with, just say it, I can't believe it, they're Aquaman. What is his damn name? That actor was good too. I like that they changed it to be like the Aztec kind of Mayan instead of being a literal Atlantis. Yeah.
Well, there's a wealth of
because you aren't competing. You aren't competing with Momoa.
Yeah. I mean, you're competing with Momoa, but still, though, that's a compelling story because it's folklore, but it's part of indigenous history that we really haven't nodded to before. It
was such a good movie, but
absolutely,
I could not. It's not one that the first Black Panther. Right after I got it, I was like, I want to see that again. I want to watch that again.
Yeah,
this one, it's like, no, that's kind of a downer.
No, it is. It's sad, man. I mean, if you think about it is.
Second Guardians of the Galaxy kind of feel the same way about that one.
Well, they're all mourning the death of T'Challa.
T'Challa and Chadwick Boseman.
Because they were all very. Degree. I mean, you make a movie that size, you spend 4 years with people,
and here is and here's the interesting thing. Now, James Gunn is. And that's what he's kind of focused on right now. He's apparently finished writing the Superman Legacy script, which he's going to be directing. He's going to be directing it. We're going to get a new Superman, a Superman who we're not another origin story, because how will you ever beat Man of Steel's origin story? And when Man of Steel, before it came out, I said, how will you ever beat Superman 1's origin story? And Man of Steel's like, hold my beer.
Right.
But no, those two, James Gunn's like, no. We're not going to do enough origin stories. People are going to get tired of origin stories unless it's an absolute. We didn't need an origin story for Peacemaker, and that's probably the best DC series there's ever been.
Yeah.
Peacemaker's awesome. John Cena, he's no Dave Bautista, but he could be if he keeps practicing like that. He could be.
He's got good comedic timing. You're right. He's no Dave Bautista.
But no, when he was serious in Peacemaker,
I think
he's got the potential. The Rock is The Rock.
Well,
but Dave Bautista and John Cena.
There's a bunch of those MMA fighters whom I have profound amount of respect for, studying martial arts myself and watching them, compete at the level they compete. Randy Couture, they called him Captain America because he was an NCAA champion. He medaled on the gold stage like 2 years or two Olympics in a row, and it was just dominated in the ring. But a lot of those guys try to act. The UFC has their own movie studio, and man, let's just say the action is good and leave it at that.
Yeah.
But
the wrestlers are better because they're already actors.
Exactly. And look, since you brought him up, I've been watching the Young Rock show on Peacock, and it shows his child. And I know it's sensationalized, but he grew up around the pillars of wrestling, right?
Yeah.
So it only makes sense, like you said, that they're already acting to bring them on and do stuff. You
want to know what sealed it for who my favorite wrestling actor is, right? And I'm sorry, he's an actor who just happened to be a wrestler at one point.
Oh yeah. Well, dude, he's
sealed it.
He's legit though, man. He is also a very
Blade Runner
artist.
He's in Blade Runner 8 minutes?
Yeah.
He's in Blade Runner 8 minutes. I was like, holy shit. No, wait. He isn't just Drax? Because I thought, okay, cool. He's, he'll probably have a career like, no, wait. He's suddenly serious. And then fucking Army of Darkness. It's like, wow.
Well, look, I read an interview he did recently because he's gonna lay Drax down after this last volume of the Galaxy. Yeah. And when they asked him why he didn't want to do it,
James Gunn's gonna kill them all.
Well,
he's gonna fucking kill them all.
More than likely, that's what's gonna make a good story, right? It's gonna make us cry on the way out.
My wife ain't going to that movie. I know that right now because they're gonna go on the backstory of Rocket Raccoon, and she can't handle animal things. And in the trailer, you see the little baby raccoon with the big eyes. It's like, nope, she ain't gonna see that.
It's gonna be like a Disney. Yeah, it's gonna be like Bambi all over again when we were kids. So
Bambi, except it's gonna be Bambi the whole movie with action instead.
Right, but
no, go ahead. Tell me the rest.
When I was reading the interview, one of the things he talked about was being a serious actor, and he doesn't want to be remembered as in a typecast role. And so we just watched Cabin in the Woods, and he was incredible in that.
The
Shyamalan,
not really the sequel. But the
Knives
the
Out
second movie, the Knives Out. Oh my god,
he was good.
That one surprised me. I thought he was going to be in. It's been long enough. All right, Ryan Johnson, don't get mad. But when he fucking does the first one to die, I was like, oh, what? Although, but both my wife and I are like, no. Him being it was too obvious. Of course, way before that, at the very beginning of the movie, we're like, Ed Norton, that's too obvious. So I'll just say that right now. We did not predict the ending of that movie at all.
Right. I really enjoy watching that dude's trajectory because he has done a lot, and all of those dudes, I think they do good work, man. And when we were growing up, wrestlers were looked at comedically more than anything.
I met Andre the Giant when I was a kid.
Come on, how did you meet Andre the Giant? He was in the music store. He was in the music store talking to my dad. I think once a month during the summer at the music store, he'd have a jam, and a lot of the local country musicians who weren't stars like Johnny Cash didn't fucking show up, but a lot of the guys that went out and played gigs with all these people would come by. Andre Giant was there for one of them. That dude was like, all right, my office is tiny, and my camera would go
But I feel like Andre the Giant here because the ceiling, like right there, like his ceiling, his hands.
It must have been gargantuan.
I can't even describe what his hands were like. His hand was like this big. No, it was bigger than that. He could, he could hold a basketball like this. He was a giant.
Well, the best way, if you've never seen him live, is to look at that scene in The Princess Bride when he brings the horses.
Oh,
and he's bigger than all three of the horses toward the end when they're jumping up.
Yeah, they probably didn't really put him on a horse because I remember.
Oh no!
When you go to one of those horse riding things, they're like, there's a weight limit. But no. All right. Hold on, and this might get us some comments. Is Andre the Giant the first wrestler with a big movie role where he wasn't like playing himself like a Hulk Hogan type thing or some shit like that?
I think that probably might have been the first really good dramatic role.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's Billy Crystal and Rob Reiner met Andre the Giant. And if you've ever seen the movie My Giant, Billy Crystal wrote it about his relationship with Andre.
That's awesome. Yeah, Andre the Giant, and especially then, that movie was Princess Bride. I don't think he lived much longer because he had severe back problems or some kind of orthopedic issue. Like a lot of those scenes, he was in a lot of pain, but he kind of like Chadwick Boseman in Avengers Endgame. He kind of like stuck it out for the role. But no, and then so Dave Bautista, and to be honest, Batista was one that I didn't really know about his wrestling stuff as much as John Cena. I don't watch wrestling. Okay. I never got into that. I liked the cartoon. Remember the cartoon with the wrestlers back in like the 80s? There was a Saturday morning cartoon when they had the guy with the rubber bands and Hulk Hogan and all those and Andre the Giant. That's as close as I ever got. But I knew who John Cena was, and I can't remember his name. The other square-headed guy from would be the 90s, late 90s. He was kind of a jerk. He was in the bar one time. Anyway, but John Cena I've heard of. And I saw him in a comedy movie before, and I was like, well, he's pretty funny. He could probably do that. But then Peacemaker, I saw the Suicide Squad, and it's like, okay, he's okay in this. It's, Suicide Squad was a fun movie. Yeah. But when Peacemaker came around, I was like, well, you know what? I actually wasn't going to watch it. Then someone posted the video on Twitter from YouTube of the theme song and that opening number that they do with the dance. I was like, no, I'm fucking watching this. I was
literally about to tell you that's what capped it for us.
Yes. Oh, my God. And then I watched this thing, and I was like, every episode, it's like, oh, my God, Peacemaker this week. I was probably more excited for episodes of Peacemaker than I was for The Last of Us. Yeah, it's just insane.
Because it really is. We saw
and then it surprises you every week. He's ludicrous the first couple episodes, and all of a sudden he's like breaks down and he's emotional. He's crying in bed. He's contemplating suicide, and it's like, and
father
then he's
and son
ridiculous
issues
again and making fart jokes. Oh my God! Robert Patrick is the scene in the prison. The scene in the prison with what's his sidekick's name and all the neo-Nazis.
Son of a biscuit.
Amazing, where he just throws out all this stuff bashing them. Oh, yes, I can't wait for season 2 of Peacemaker. It's
I'm really excited
pushed
about
a little
that too.
To fit in the story. We're getting so the James Gunn thing. Let's do that. All right, we're at 38 minutes now. We could. Oh, our episodes are going to be. We're going to have a lot of fun with this. So we talked about Marvel. We'll see. I think is our consensus.
Yeah, I think that's what it's got to be.
The next one coming. Yeah, well, the next one coming out is Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and I don't feel like they're going to force James Gunn to put anything in it to advance the bigger universe, because this is the end of it. This is the end of this version of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Right. It looks like it's going to be very much a character-driven movie. Oh, they are introducing what's his name? I like both DC and Marvel movies, but when I choose to read comics, it's almost exclusively DC because I just don't have time to read that much.
Right.
But this character's someone everyone excited for. What's his name? Shoot. Well, we'll talk about it when the movie comes out. Anyway, that may continue on. And the Nova Corps. That will probably continue on. But that movie's going to be self-contained. So I don't think we're going to get an answer to how the big story arcs continue. There's not Kang is not going to show up in this thing. It's all going to be about the Guardians, and I think it's actually looking like it's going to be focused on Rocket saying, "I want to get revenge for what these people did to me."
Right.
And James Gunn actually recently said, "Hey, did y'all ever stop to think maybe when I was making these Guardians of the Galaxy movies that Rocket is what they're about? That he's the main character."
Right.
So speaking of, that's a great. If you think about it, it does.
Because there's one of the scenes in particular that comes to mind when you say that is when they pick up Thor, and he says, "I'm taking
rabbit."
Yeah, because they need to go make a new axe or something, and so Rocket is the one that says, "Okay, well, we got a large assortment of dumbbells, so some of you dumbbells will go this way, and me and this big dumbbell will go the other way." Like he started running things, and so you start to see that his relationship with Groot goes a lot deeper than what you see.
Yes. And the most amazing thing about all of that is that that's freaking Bradley Cooper.
Right.
Doing a voice that sounds nothing like Bradley Cooper.
I had to look
you
it
never
up
see hide nor hair.
Saw it. And I'm usually pretty good. Being a musician, you can hear timbre and you can go, "Oh, man, I know who that is." And I couldn't. He did a really good job. I mean, the voice acting.
I almost want to ask James Gunn. It's like, is that really Bradley Cooper? Is that just your brother? No, that wouldn't be his brother. His brother's voice couldn't do that. But it's like why spend all that money on Bradley Cooper if that's all he's going to do it? I mean, he's a good voice actor. Maybe because he's kind of an actor. Let's just say he's not hired because of his voice. He's kind of a purdy boy.
Right.
I mean, could you imagine Tom Cruise doing the voice in a cartoon? I mean, is he doing his own stunts in this cartoon?
Only if they allow him to run at full speed on a treadmill while he recorded.
His run. It's got to be his run. A run that's like I just can't even describe. But that's a great segue. James Gunn. And it didn't used to be a great segue to talk about the DC universe because he did the Suicide Squad. Box office wise, it tanked.
I know, but I really enjoyed it.
I did too. It was a rated R movie, and people are like, "Why couldn't it do the same numbers as the Joker that made $1 billion?" It's like, because the Joker was an Oscar-winning fucking movie with Joaquin Phoenix that, quite frankly, you could have changed the fucking name of it and no one would have thought better. Yes, they say Bruce Wayne and Thomas Wayne, but different episode discussion. Is that really the Joker? Where's the acid pit? Where's all that? Is that really the Joker, or is that just a crazy guy that thinks he's the fucking Joker?
Right.
We'll see in the next movie with Lady Gaga, who's playing Harley Quinn, but instead of Harley Quinn, instead of it being his psychotherapist, she's apparently just a fellow inmate. So is this all in their head? Like, do they live in Gotham with the Joker and Batman, and they're just making this grand story in their head? I don't know.
Right. Well,
that being said,
I'll tell you, I was really surprised by the Joker because Todd Phillips, what I know him for is Old School and the Vince Vaughn.
Oh, no shit. He did Old School?
Yeah, dude. He's the one that showed. Wait,
hold on. Don't let me get this wrong. Old School, Will Ferrell running naked through the streets, Old School.
Yeah. You remember when at the beginning when Luke Wilson finds his wife cheating on him, Juliette Lewis has got a three-way or something going on, and he comes home early from the airport, and the doorbell rings, and the guy with the curly afro says, "I'm here for the orgy." That's Todd Phillips.
You want to know something funny about that? Actually, what you're going to mention, you talk about Todd Phillips doing that. One, for the Joker, that was one of two movies that one of my wife's classes on psychology mentioned. It's like assigned her to watch. It was that or The Soloist. We watched The Soloist because my wife had no interest in the Joker because that's clearly a disturbing movie.
It really
Soloist
is.
was fucking great, though. Did you see that with Jamie?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Robert Downey Jr.
A good movie.
Fox.
Yeah, they were good. It's but
they have a chemistry that works really well.
Yeah, they're actually similar. They tend to they're similar. Their prime characters are very similar characters. That's interesting. I never thought of that. But yeah, so you had Todd Phillips, who I did not put that two and two. Famous for doing comedies, doing the Joker. But I want to point out something else with superhero movies that's been a very common trend, and it seems to work. James Gunn. What was his first big movie?
Sucker Punch, wasn't it? No,
James Gunn, not Zach.
Okay.
Slither. Horror movie.
That's right.
Zack Snyder's first movie. The remake of Dawn of the Dead.
Horror movie.
Sam Raimi's first movie.
Horror movie.
The guy that directed James Wan, the first Aquaman movie. He did all the lots of horror movies and Fast and Furious movies. So a combination of horror and cheese.
Holy cow.
Look at all the horror movie directors that are doing superhero movies. Pony Smasher. The guy that directed both Shazam movies. Horror movie director. He's actually excited to go back to horror movies now.
Okay.
I call him Pony Smasher. That's his Twitter handle. Damn, I can't remember his name. This is not a good night for me. So yeah, and now a horror movie director is in charge of the DC universe. And everyone always lumps people. They see James Gunn and they think it's going to be poo-poo jokes like in The Peacemaker, which, by the way, that was very in character for those characters.
It was appropriate.
Or something like Guardians of the Galaxy. And I'm sorry. If you tried to make Guardians of the Galaxy with the tone of Batman v Superman, with the talking raccoon, the talking tree, that movie would have failed. Everything doesn't have to be dark.
On its face.
Yeah. Now, I have total faith that James Gunn, who is every bit as much of a comic book fanatic as Zack Snyder is, and some of the others that have directed great comic book movies, will do a perfectly fine job in flushing out a universe that we will all enjoy. But he has very bravely chosen to direct. He wrote Superman Legacy. Great. I already know he's a fantastic writer. Did you know he was one of the writers of Dawn of the Dead remake that Zack Snyder directed?
Yes.
And
yes,
they're friends. Yeah. And then he wrote Scooby-Doo as well, which is what got him his foot in the door. But so now he's this. So he wrote Superman Legacy and said, you know what, I'm going to direct this. One, I'm going to say it's a good idea because of this, because he is pretty much, Peter Safran, I'm just assuming, is handling the business part. I don't know what his role is. But James Gunn, this is his baby. This is his vision. He's hashing out how all these characters are going to interact. But at the same time, he knows as a director, he wants to give his directors freedom of their own vision. He doesn't want to say, okay, you're doing The Flash too. I need The Flash to be fighting Brainiac's minions because they're going to be coming in the next Superman movie. He's not going to do that shit.
Right, lock him down.
He may be like, he may give like in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, the only note they gave James Gunn was you need to have the which stone was it? The space? No, it wasn't the space stone. It was the
Soul Stone,
Power Stone,
or Power Stone.
No, it was the Power Stone. He's like, you gotta have that, and he's like, okay, cool, I'll just make it what the whole movie's about. But they didn't make him do anything more. He's like, we need to have the Power Stone in this for the other movies. That's it.
Right.
So he's going to probably do and I think that's a lot of what Kevin Feige does. James Gunn and a lot of other directors have often said, no, they didn't make us do all that.
Right.
Although you kind of wonder now, that's what the recent movies seem like they're just leading to something else instead of being their own movies. But the question is can he pull off directing a Superman movie? We've had Richard Donner, Zack Snyder, Bryan Singer. It was all right, but Bryan Singer has problems all his own. But Zack Snyder and Richard Donner, I think they really hit a different version of each Superman. So what's James Gunn's? This is Superman that's already here. There's already a Justice League and a Batman and all these people. But this is a younger Superman. What's he going to be like? Yeah,
that's the question.
I mean, I don't feel like this is one that James Gunn needs to do a mixtape for. I don't feel like pop music fits in a Superman movie. This needs to be mythology.
Like focus in on a timeline, like a chunk of time in the development of young Clark Kent before he becomes full-blown Henry Cavill, who is kind of old, I guess, by the time we get done because he's been Superman for a while.
That's because they took so long to make those movies. No, this Superman is supposed to be like 25. He's already
the
been
character,
Superman
not necessarily the actor. But yeah.
Actually, Henry Cavill, this is a great point. Remember, like everyone complains about how Henry Cavill wasn't Man of Steel. That was his like second day on the job. Everything that happens in that movie was right after he put the suit on.
Right.
He had never been Superman before. He didn't have experience. He was a terrible fighter. And when it came down to him and Zod, that was his only choice because he didn't know no better.
Right.
But anyway, so what's James Gunn going to do? We can't know. We don't even – people are already throwing out names of actors, and every time they throw out someone famous, I'm like, it ain't going to be that. You know why I say that?
He's going to – all right, so look.
It's got to be someone they can afford for 10 years.
Yeah, exactly, because look, Henry Cavill has some pretty distinct features, right?
Yep, just like Christopher Reeve.
He's not just a big dude, he's not just chiseled. He's got this, and I'm going to say elegance to the way he moves. Yeah, there's just elegance to him, even in all the stuff that he does. Even the
got to have a strong
Holmes
jaw
movie.
And chin too.
Yeah. So
I liked the Enola Holmes movie,
right? It was good. I'm just playing, but no,
you weren't.
If they're going to focus on that time period and they need to run it for 10 years, they're going to have somebody that not really resembles him, but somebody that they can use for that period of time that has something. A look they can make a new brand because that's what he's need. That's what they're going to do.
It needs to look
brand.
like they need to get someone like Superman. And actually, to be honest, they don't need to be like they need to not be like Henry Cavill or Christopher Reeve. Henry Cavill, what made him a great Superman is they need to be somewhere like in Christopher Reeve. Yeah, well, yeah, because Superman the character is somewhere in between those two. But on the flip side, I think, yeah. It's good, but the main thing I say is also it can't. They're not going to like someone threw out Austin Butler's like, yeah, that'd be great. How much is he right now? He didn't win the Oscar for Elvis, but he was nominated, right? Yeah, all right, sure you'll get awarded for the first movie, but when you're doing Justice League 3 8 years down the road, how much is that fucker going to cost? Look at Robert Downey Jr. They got him at a discount because the dude was a recovering drug addict. So yeah, they could afford him for 10 years, but in the end, that fucker was getting paid MLB baseball player money. And that's unsustainable if you want to make a big Justice League movie. In the Justice League and like the Avengers is just 5 to 7 characters, and they're all major players in the universe. They're all players that are going to have multiple solo movies. Right. The Flash, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Superman, and Batman, those 5 alone. Right. Whoever they get. And Green Lantern. They're doing a whole series of that. So this is going to be crazy.
It is. It's going to be. What's the problem?
Movies take so long.
Yeah.
It's hurting their movies that are on the slate right now.
If you make them correctly.
Like Shazam. Yeah.
I'll tell you, the only movie I really got my nose bent out of joint at because it took so long to get to us was Black Adam. He started hyping that 10 years ago. You know what I mean?
Then he fucked it up. No, the movie was good. I loved the movie.
No, I loved the movie. I loved it.
Yeah, but after I heard some of the story behind it,
see, I read some articles.
He was supposed to make a cameo in the first Shazam movie and refused. Shazam was supposed to make a cameo in Black Adam, but Dwayne Johnson's like, no, I want nothing to do with Shazam. It's like, dude, he wanted fucking Black Adam. Yeah. Which was fine, but that was also bullshit, and that screwed Henry Cavill. So Dwayne Johnson thinks he's this great businessman, but he's kind of an asshole. But here's the thing, friend, not you, Dwayne Johnson. You think Black Adam exists in the comic books without Shazam?
No, so all 3 of their storylines are tied together at some point.
And Shazam came, around the same time as Superman.
Right.
That's Captain Marvel.
Right.
The original Captain Marvel. And Shazam is like an offshoot from like the 50s of him. That's his Joker.
Right.
That's like making a movie about Brainiac where you never include Superman.
Right.
Brainiac versus Batman. I don't want anything to do with Superman. It's like, but Superman.
Right.
That's
but that's
your bad guy.
Right. No, I think his vision.
It was a good movie though. Take it all away. I loved the JLA. I loved Dr. Fate, Pierce Brosnan. I loved Hawkman, and then the other 2 cats I'd never heard of. All great.
Dude, growing up, Hawkman was my jam in the Justice League, bro.
And then reading the comics recently, it's Hawk Girl.
Show up somewhere.
Yeah, Hawk Girl. I haven't read. I almost said Hot Girl. Hawk Girl, Hawk Woman.
Right.
Is, last I saw in the comics, and it's been a while. because I just, like I said, I ran out of time to read them. Hot Girl and Martian Manhunter been together for a while, so that was kind of neat. That's an interesting couple. I'm guessing he doesn't read her mind all the time because that would be uncomfortable in a relationship.
Right. I know everything's not fine.
Oh, who do you think is potentially the most powerful hero in the DC universe? Is it Superman or someone else?
It's hard to say. There's arguments for multiple people.
Martian Manhunter. Think about it.
There's arguments for him. Even though we don't like the direction it went, the Black Adam character was gifted the same, gifts as Shazam, but because of his backstory, uses.
Well, he already knew how to fight. Right? But Shazam has the equal power to him. The question is the thing is with Shazam and Black Adam, what it should have been and what Dwayne Johnson missed out on, it should have been, what would have been awesome in that post-credit scene if it wasn't just Henry Cavill showing up, but Henry Cavill and Shazam, because that's the fight we want to see. That's the one they did in the animated movies. Henry Cavill, Superman cannot solo Black Adam. Superman will get his ass whipped because you know what else he is. The only things that can hurt Superman are kryptonite and magic. He is completely vulnerable to magic. Right. Constantine can fuck with Superman. So he needs to have Shazam on his side. It has to be 2 against 1. And then Black Adam's toast. And then fans kept making it like, look at Dwayne Johnson and look at Zachary Levi. It's like, actors.
Right.
Shazam is equally as strong as Black Adam. They both have the strength of Hercules.
Right. Well, the one thing I will give up on this particular point, The Rock had a physique coming in where they probably didn't have to use a lot of padding. You know what I mean? But he's been lifting weights since he was like 8 or some shit like that. So he should be looking like that.
I'll say that though. He tried to make it like he was the first, and I just want to show pictures of Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck's workout shots, especially Cavill. Ben Affleck did really good though for Batman v Superman, but Henry Cavill is just steel.
They both
insane, gross. It's disgusting looking, but it's like all just
conversation all the time. Not just with superhero movies, but any action movie now. It's not the same as it was. Hugh Jackman. Everybody is doing something physical.
Actually, you ready for this? Christopher Reeve, look it up. Christopher Reeve, they were going to put padding on him. So he worked out. He weighed I think 170 pounds. He worked out, was 220 by the time he put that Superman suit on. But see, that was a different kind of working out. You didn't work out and then shed all your fat.
No,
that was a different kind of working out.
Well, the
chiseled look is, I don't know, steroids or some shit.
Well,
I don't know
what science that they do with it now. It's a combination of dietary things and really weird workouts that they get from different parts of the world and all kinds of stuff like that. But I'll tell you what, and I'm going to deviate for just a minute because I think the movie itself has set a new bar for all action movies, and that's John Wick. Keanu Reeves is a dude that does his own stuff.
I have only seen the first John Wick.
Okay, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I can tell you this.
Okay, good, because I couldn't get past. I watched it, and it was a great movie, but all I could think about was the fucking dog in the beginning, and it's like, I need to watch 2. I know there's no more dog stuff happening, but
2 and 3 are not quite, because that 1 is very dramatic. He loses his wife. They kill his dog.
And fuck those wives. Yeah, there you go. I was like, fuck his wife. They kill his damn dog, man.
Right. So he should go on a tear. But if you look at some of the behind the scenes, that dude was studying Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu with the biggest family besides the Gracie family in Brazil. He was doing military.
I think he picked that up from the Wachowskis too.
Yeah,
because the Wachowskis, when they did the first Matrix, they brought all the famous kung fu choreographers.
Yo Wen Ping did the choreography for that. So he's been steeped in it. And even Tom Hardy holds a black belt in jiu-jitsu and competes at competitions in international competitions. So, you know, he's playing Venom. You've got John Wick. And so if you're doing an action movie, it's not like the 80s where they put the camera right up on here and they showed a bunch of weird stuff. And they're like, oh, there's a fight going on. I can hear the noise. The camera technology, the photographer's intellect, director's visions have all started to become more in focus where we can now show certain things. And you have to be able to do that for real to be able
we
to.
We all know who's I'll go before John Wick. Well, I don't know if it's before John Wick. About to say, what year did John Wick came out? All right, well, that's not important. I'll do one more thing. To me, the greatest action fight scene, I'm not going to say in a movie, but definitely in a superhero movie. Definitely in a superhero movie. I can't think of one better. Batman v Superman, Batman in the warehouse.
I really think that action-wise was really incredible.
Because before Christopher Nolan never showed Batman fighting because he's like, how do I show this and make it look like this is the greatest fighter in the world? And then Zack Snyder's like, thanks for getting me the gig. This is how we do it.
right.
This is how we make it look like. And yes, he's chucking crates and stuff, but that's Batman. He's the most physically fit human being on Earth.
Right. There is acting going on, but let's right. So to be believable, so like you make enough stuff to know this. What we know about post production is that if we make something, if we cut a corner like we were talking about earlier, where people are starting to notice, or we don't get the right raw data, you don't have any room in post. So if you can already do a lot of action scenes and you're athletic and you can get on a green screen and move around a certain way, you give the post-production team a much higher ceiling to do more incredible things. And I think that's one of the things that has made all of these movies.
Yeah, it also helps. And I hope people keep using this. The guy is Richard C. Strong, was Ben Affleck's. He's pretty much what you saw as Batman. Almost. Yeah. When Batman wasn't talking, it was Richard C. Strong, who was equally as buff as Black Snyder. What the hell? Ben Affleck. We were talking about Black Adam and Zack Snyder, and I just invented the greatest action director ever, Black Snyder. But yeah, so that scene and then I saw he was actually it's the same stunt team that did Wonder Woman, the original Wonder Woman, and that stunt team plus Weta Digital did Lord of the Rings and all the WB stuff. But yeah, so this was great. I think we should. It's like an hour, and this will take me a while to edit. I don't know what day this will come out, but we'll hopefully be doing this frequently. Lots of talks, and I would be very willing to bet. Now, one thing about James Gunn is we don't get a lot of bullshit and rumors now. The previous WB team, people will be throwing stuff. Zach's coming back to do Justice League 2. It'll be announced in August. James Gunn now, it's like James Gunn has cast Austin Butler as Superman. James Gunn responds to the tweet, I haven't cast anybody yet. That's still in so he's very much responding. So he's stop the bullshit. So we can take a break from rumors. We will be interviewing Zack Snyder sometime in the next 5 years. I mean, if we don't get a restraining order against us from contacting him.
If you're not doing it, you're not making it happen.
Hey, my wife made a great point. I'm not talking about Zack Snyder. You can't get hold of him. He's busy finishing Rebel Moon, which we will talk about soon.
I think
the trailer's going to be dropping soon.
Yeah,
that's good. They committed to a trilogy. Oh my God, of dark Star Wars is in essence what it's going to be. Zack Snyder does Star Wars for adults. Ooh, if it's all like Andor with tons of epic action, I'm on board. That being said, my wife made a great point. I was like, you know what? I would love to just talk to Tom Holkenborg, not Hans Zimmer or John Williams, or actually Tom Holkenborg's kind of working his way up there quick. But I would just love to talk to him about how he recorded Zack Snyder's Justice League, because that has got to be the only epic score that came out during the pandemic that wasn't already recorded before or was recorded right after.
Right.
We sit there still wearing masks in the doctor's office. But anyway, she said, why don't you just shoot an email out to his people and see if he'll talk to you? I was like, all right, maybe I'll do that.
I mean, the worst thing to say is no thank you.
Or not answer.
Right.
All right. So this was the beginning of season 3. I ain't going to trim none of this. Yeah. I'm wearing my wedding ring. It's starting to bug me already. Allergy. So, we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Have a great. Hey, thanks for having me, man. This was fun.